Hey everyone, Rich Hall again with the Rich Hall Group. I'm an executive coach for small to medium-sized businesses. I'm here today again with Bart Pitcock with Sales Xceleration, and we're talking about building out a sales organization within your company. The last time we spoke, we discussed about the hiring of a salesperson. What should that look like? And what are some of the best practices that we should incorporate? Today, we want to talk a little bit more about, now that you've got a person hired, how do you get them engaged within the company and as successful as possible as soon as possible? So, Bart, how do you do that? Walk us through it.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Good to be with you again. First and foremost, you don't want them to show up on day one and say, geez, what do we all do now, right? So, it's critical to develop and have a pretty defined onboarding plan in place. Obviously the very first day someone shows up, you want to make sure they have items to be able to do work, right? They need a laptop. If there's a company phone, an email address, business cards, those sorts of things. But in addition to that, you want to have a plan in place, not only for their first week, first month, even the next 6 months, just to ensure as rapid an onboarding success rate as possible. So, this can last up to a year. And the first thing that we believe is, let's have a clear communication of objectives and expectations for that individual. So let's lay that out so there's no disagreement or any confusion going forward. So let's define, one, what that plan is going to be, but also what the expectations are for that person as they step into the role.
Okay, Bart, so I've got a question. We've got the person on board, and I know a lot of times companies will say, sink or swim, or throw them to the fire, or let's see how fast they can start generating sales. And I think we both believe that can be dangerous because it doesn't set up the new salesperson for success. Talk a little bit about what you would recommend for training the new salesperson, as well as getting them acclimated to the company as fast as possible.
Yeah, so those are great points, right? So, one, as a sales manager or leader, I want to meet with that individual on a weekly basis just to ensure that we're making the progress that we're going to talk about. So in terms of training, we want them to meet with other experts, in the company to learn about the services and products. If there are special attributes, lead times, any sort of information that others in the company also might need to understand and get from the field. We also want them to meet with other stakeholders in the company, right? If that's somebody from customer service and operations and supply chain, it's important to develop those relationships. So that's part of that onboarding plan as well, to have a defined schedule on when they will meet with those individuals, to develop those relationships. The other thing, in terms of what you said, hey, let's start generating revenue right out of the gate. Well, let's develop a plan for when are they going to start meeting with maybe current and potential clients. And are they riding along with another more experienced salesperson in the organization? If it's the first hire in a small company, maybe that's actually making joint visits with the business owner. So we kind of need to lay out the plan for introducing and getting that individual, out into the field to become the face of the company to the customer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we've got them, let's say, engaged with the client base, engaged internally, they're starting to get some leads, they're starting to work, they're starting to feel comfortable. What about their ongoing growth? So we know that we don't want to just leave them, hanging. We want them to grow just like everyone. What would you recommend for how do you maintain growth for the salesperson long term?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, within the sales function itself, right? If I'm a sales manager or leader, I want to continue to have those weekly regular meetings to give constructive feedback both ways. So that is coaching them just in that particular role. Hey, what's working, what's not, what support do you need? So that's going to help facilitate growth within the company. Secondly, you want to kind of turn them loose as well when you feel like, they're ready. So that they have some real personal ownership and individual ownership of that client base. So that's all just within their current role. The second thing is maybe there's outside training that is appropriate that we have built into that onboarding plan, right? Mm-hmm. 6 months down the road, we want to send them to, maybe it's even a sales training seminar of some sort. Maybe it is a product or service specific training that we want to send them to. And then the third prong of that, Rich, is, I think it's important that they get involved in activities within the company outside of sales, right? Let's, assuming that they have made progress, let's assign them to a separate project on making it, how do we shorten our lead times, or what about our receivables? Where we would like to shorten the time on our receivables. Let's have someone, that sales individual be a participant to help in a continuous improvement project that at the end of the day is going to benefit the company. That's going to facilitate their growth, not purely just in the sales role, but outside of it as well.
Excellent. Okay. So that wraps up this video session where we talked a little bit about onboarding a new salesperson. We've already spoken in a prior video about how to hire and make sure we select the right one. So our next video is going to talk about what the owner should expect longer term and what does success look like. Thanks again, Bart Pitcock with Sales Xceleration, and all of you watching today. We hope you take a look at our next video. Have a great day.
Thanks, folks.